I'm just getting into it. Roll up them sleeves. Time to work on some spooky monsters. So we're gonna be back. Nope, that's not the that's not the one I want. I want this one. And that camera is out of focus. Look how bad that is. There we go. So we're back working on Spooky Santa Man. Last week we worked on the kind of velvet effect. I think it works okay. It still needs to be blended a bit and stuff, but I think the general effect is kind of working. In the meantime, I didn't bring them upstairs, but I finished painting the Squires of Death. So maybe later I'll bring them up and show you guys the 4 squires for the Black Knight. We played the Black Knight campaign. We got to we beat the first 3, got to the Phoenix, and I hate the level 3 Phoenix. Can't stand it. Can't stand the level 3 Phoenix. He absolutely destroyed us. He did the ability that's basically... he did the attack right off the bat that's like, all right, reduce all your armor to all this location on hit, and then take 3 damage to each location. Oh, you died? Okay. Also, you get -3 to your severe injury rolls. Oh, you instant died and lose the campaign? Okay, cool. So, that's how that went. Very fun. Hate the Phoenix. Number 1 recommendation, if you guys are interested in KDM, buy Sunstalker and replace the Phoenix with Sunstalker. So, yeah, I've been working on him. I finished the Squires, like I said, and then I started on this happy little gentleman right here. Did some painting on him, worked on the face, got some base coats down and everything, so painted the mouth. Still have to paint this side of the face, as you can see, but I've got the highlights on this side. So, been working on Frog Dog. Ribbit. What sound would a frog dog make? How do you combine a ruff and a ribbit? Ruffibit. So, the froggy dog. Anyways, how are you guys doing? Been working on anything? Painting any stuff? We're going to paint this guy. I'm trying to think about what we want to work on today. And I don't want to just sit here and like blend fabric. It's not particularly interesting. So I'm kind of between working on... I'm thinking maybe like it might be time to work on his face some. So work on his face, work on the beard. Yeah, do some of that stuff and maybe work on the fur a little bit. Or do the hands beard. All right, who's the experts in Kingdom Death? Do you think, lore, these are actual hands that he's wearing as a necklace? Or do you think it's like part of just his beard but weird? I think it's actual hands that he's wearing. I also think they're like trophies. He's just out here cutting people's arms off. So if they're weird trophy hands, right? Can't tell if there's supposed to be fur in between them or not. I think maybe the fur's still growing in between them. If they're trophy hands, I'll probably do them pretty desaturated anyways to give like that sort of undead, well, not undead, but dead flesh, I guess, in this case. So, anyways, here's the palette for Frog Dog, huh? This is what I was working on. So we're probably going to be working like down here, and maybe I'll pull some of these colors from elsewhere that are still useful. So I think what we want to do is just get some elements cleaned up and base coated on here, and then we can start working on his face and beard. So we'll get some of the base color that we used for the fur. I'm gonna go they're gonna be different skin tones, or is there only white children in Kingdom Death? So this is an interesting question. All of the art basically depicts white people from a lore standpoint of a society that has no sun. I can understand every human being very pale, basically never adapting to having melanin in their skin. But I have painted a few of my, like I've painted at least one of them with like a slightly more South Asian kind of skin tone. So I don't know, man. It's weird. Do whatever you want, you know? Do what you feel. You know, it's a fantasy world if you want. If you want, what's it called? It's the same thing when people are like, but the Space Marines are based on a European culture. Yeah, they're also in space, dude. Like, who cares? It is freaking weird. And who's to say they recruit people only from some planet that is based entirely on some specific time point in European cultures? So stupid. Bunch of let people enjoy their miniatures however they want. But yeah, so we're just gonna keep working on this guy, and I'm just gonna work on getting some of this stuff cleaned up here. Just making sure that the base coat is nice and good before we start layering further. That is true. That is factually lore accurate. Space Marines tan instantly. Yeah, the Raven Guard were specifically known to have like a gene deficiency, which made their skin like pale white, and then the Salamander's skin is constantly like onyx black. So technically a Space Marine with a functioning whatever that organ is that makes them do that would change from, I guess if they were already white, would change from white to salamander black if they had to. In your face, lore experts. Anyways, let's paint some fur here. So yeah, I'm just trying to get this cleaned up because I did this super fast. But it is really important that you, like with stuff like this, that you go about getting a nice clean base coat. It will save you time later, okay? So when I start layering on top of this, that I don't have like black showing through and stuff, that would just be annoying. Anthony, what up, dude? Is the Adepticon cart open tonight? Is it tonight or is it a different day? I don't know. I don't remember. Anyways, I'll be teaching a couple classes at Adepticon. Just a couple. I'm going to be a little busy on Saturday and Sunday. Some of you may have seen the news. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing, hopefully, you all there. And it should be a fun event as always. No, I have not made it to Alberta yet. My traveling schedule is so busy. Yeah, it's difficult. I would basically be traveling. If I did every single workshop, like I would basically be traveling year round. And some of these countries, like the EU in particular, will only let me stay for so long. The UK, I can actually stay for 6 months, which is interesting. Good evening, Leafy Decays. With you being a judge now, will that affect Feedback Fridays for GD pieces? Good question. I answered it in the Discord, but I will tell you all here. Yes, it will affect Feedback Fridays. I'm going to politely ask you all to refrain from submitting GWP, like not GW pieces, but pieces intended for the Golden Demon from Feedback Friday. Not because I don't think that I could give feedback and still judged unbiasedly. I would just like to avoid any optics of favoritism or anything like that. Okay? So I will not be judged. I will not be giving feedback on any Golden Demon pieces. However, if you're painting something for, yes, say MFCA or Nova or whatever, that is fine. Or if you're just painting some Games Workshop models for fun, I'm happy to look at them. So it's not like I'm going to be like, no, I'm not going to look at any Warhammer figures. Like, no, you could still submit Warhammer figures. Just, try and be polite and realize that, like, yes, I'm trying to avoid any sense of impropriety. How was your flight back from Essen? Well, from Essen, I actually went to Italy for a couple of weeks, and then I flew home. But it was good. If you guys need any recommendations for, I also won't be offering any private tutoring on Golden Demon figures. So beyond the Feedback Friday, no private tutoring on Golden Demon figures. I'm sorry. So is my bank account. But I can recommend that you reach out to someone like Andy Wardle or Albert Moretto, who both offer private tutoring, and perhaps they can help you out instead. You have private tutoring? Yes, it's in the Discord. If you check, if you're in the Discord, you check the server guide, you will see that there is private tutoring offered. In fact, many of my private tutoring students have done quite well in Golden Demon and various contests in the past. Hola. Hello, Eric. I hope you are doing well. Wishing you a happy and healthy Christmas. Thank you to you too. Dude, the MVV is so good. It needs blending, but we're working on some other parts at the moment. We're trying to just clean up some stuff, you know? At least clean up around the beard section, because what I would like to work on tonight is like start on working around the face and whatnot. So I'm trying to get all this fur nice and base coated so that we don't have any splotchy segments, because nobody wants to see your splotchy segments. Nobody was biting the trolling, the NVV trolling. Sucks. That wasn't catching on. All right. Good, I'm glad we got vents. Let's see what we can do. So I think we want to use like some sort of magenta-ish color for to base coat the hands here. I'm going to probably do them in like this. I'll probably use this sort of barbarian flesh tone, which is like you can see here it's got like a slightly more greenish side. I'm gonna mix some of these cool red tones with this guy to get these base coated, and then if we need like some darker areas around, we will do that. But we're gonna try and avoid too much orange here in the hands in order to get a nice dead flush. We can even grab some of this sort of color. In fact, maybe we do something like this to desaturate. We might have to add black, but as we layer on top, it's going to add some more tones to these. So let's start with this, and this will serve. This is quite saturated right now, but as we layer more desaturated tones on top, this will leave only the sort of pinkish color in the shadows. You might even need just a little bit of black to desaturate. Thanks, Anthony. I like some cool reds. Eventually, he will be based with a bit of snow and stuff. So I'd like some colder colors. Well, I guess Santa is magic too also, but you know, he does some magical stuff. Yeah, you can see the difference between this and that. Like this purple, even just adding a little black to desaturate here, I think gives us a more sort of natural dead flesh kind of color. And it's very normal that Santa has a sack of babies and a string of arms, you know? I mean, come on. There's nothing weird in Kingdom Death. I simultaneously hate and love this model. But this, doing a camera angle like this just makes me laugh. Like, his face is so derpy and stupid. Oh, man. You know what I just thought of? So I was thinking about AI for some reason. And AI struggles with hands. We should have AI design a Kingdom Death monster. See how it handles all the hands. A scoozy. Me scoozy. Yeah, prompt, it needs more hands. And see how it just interprets that. Yeah, that's not bad, but it needs more hands. Dude, are you guys excited for some Resident Evil 9? I am. I'm very selective over which video games I play because I don't have so much time to play video games. Like this year I played Silksong, but last year I played the Resident Evil 4 remake. I think that was last year. Or maybe last year was Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree. Anyways, one of them I played, I think Elden Erdtree was 2 years ago. But I tend to play about like one video game a year. And man, Resident Evil 4 remake, love that game. It's in my top like 3 games ever made. Oh, Resident Evil 4, love it. So I'm looking forward to having Leon Kennedy suplex some zombies again. Mr. Kennedy. And the Spanish translation in the remake is much better. You're never too old to German suplex a zombie. Don't you say that. So, I need to German suplex a zombie. It's the number one thing I want in life. Me trolling? Nah. I'm not trolling. I'm serious, dude. Yeah, exactly. I'm not joking about suplexes. You gotta shoot zombies in the knees and then run around behind them so that you can suplex them. You can also shoot them in the face and sometimes they'll spin around and then you can suplex them. Whatever, dude. Come on, let's not get too lore specific here. All right. Los Ganados. I know the Lord. Do you even know what Los Ganados means? Yeah. So ganador is ganar is like to win or receive, like a gift or some prize. So ganados is like the ones who have been gifted, the ones who have received. I'm sure there's a more elegant translation of that, but one of our, the gift of las plagas. Plagas, not palagas. Plagas. 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 I'm sure one of our Spanish viewers could more accurately translate ganados for you, but oh yeah, not las playas. Yes, I appreciate that in the updated Resident Evil 4, the remake, Luis curses in proper Castilian Spanish now. As opposed to before where he was cursing in some Latin American Spanish. Thanks, Pete. Yeah, I'm hyped. I think it's going to be very fun. I'm very excited for the GD and Adepticon in general. What is a zombie anyways, you know? Like, come on. Every fiction has their own definition of what a zombie is. I guess the traditional definition is just the undead, but and typically an undead that is spread through some kind of virus. But in 28 Days Later, they're just like rage monsters. They're not even zombies, but people call that a zombie movie. So they're not dead. They're just angry. I also hate in zombie movies how they will use like any way of calling something a zombie except for a zombie. Like there's no, as if there was no folklore or zombie media that has happened in this universe before the zombie apocalypse. And does that mean that you judge in Germany too? I am the judge for 2026. That's how I will answer that question. I've never seen Dead Snow. My favorite zombie movie is the original Dawn of the Dead. And I prefer the alternate ending. The original ending that they changed. Because audiences found it too grim. There's more hands on the back. So I think what I gotta do here, because there's all the smoke, and I didn't want to, there's just like too much stuff on him. I didn't want to assemble everything. This hand is touching this baby's head. That's not creepy at all. I swear it's like his hair, but he doesn't really have hair. I mean, it's a weird model. Don't question it. That was a statement to myself, not to you guys. I think what we're going to do is just try and get a nice thick layer of this skin tone on everything back here. And then if we need to clean it up, we'll probably use some kind of wash or something to handle the shadows on the back of this, because I'm not trying to paint all of those little individual, I mean, I'll do some highlights on the more visible ones and stuff, but there is a level of finish and effort that is not worth it, because you will never see it unless you look up underneath it like this. And when it is on the table, you will look at it like this or like this. So who cares? But I will at least get rid of all the primer and stuff, you know? Oh yeah, dude, like especially in the US, man, like I'm pretty sure there's people that have just been waiting for it to happen. They pray for the day that the zombie apocalypse comes along. Which is why I kind of like at least the concept of The Walking Dead, that the zombies aren't really the enemy of it. It's other humans and the like horrible things that we would do to each other in that situation, you know? So the walkers are not really the threat in The Walking Dead. How did we get on zombies? Oh, Resident Evil. I was like, what? And we're painting dead flesh tones, I guess. Which would be applicable to painting zombie figures if you wanted. Zombies. Just read that you'll be the next guest judge for GD. Thank you for investing your time and giving to the community. Hey, you're welcome. I do it for you guys. Nah, I do it for the bitches. You know? All the ladies that are real interested in the Golden Demon judges, they find it very attractive. I'm not even going to touch that subject, Bodhi. That is, yeah. Get it up in there. Just mash that brush in there. Get some paint on it. Surely you get some. No. No. No, my Instagram account is also like 97% dudes. My audience. Warhammer is a real sausage fest, if you know what I'm saying. Yes, there are some women. Okay, I'm not gonna. There are some lady fans of the Warhammer. So I'm not being exclusive here. You can be whatever you're into. Just pointing out the statistics and demographics is definitely skews towards one gender over the other. I need to apply like a wash or something now. Yeah. So that's good. All right. Here's what we're going to do for his skin. We're going to base it in something a little more on the reddish side. We're going to go some brighter red on him. We're going to give him quite the drunk nose look. He's got some crazy eyes too. We'll build up additional, but this is just going to function as like an undertone. There has never been a female sword winner, right? No, Victoria Lamb won the Slayer. Victoria Lamb, I think, won the Slayer sword. I believe. Someone can confirm on Golden Demon Companion, but I believe that Victoria Lamb won the Slayer sword. Boom, gotcha. Look at you making misogynistic assumptions. How could you? Jeez. But for real, it is pretty limited. I think there's more ladies outside of the outside of Warhammer, like when you get into the larger miniature painting scene as a whole. I think it's got a little bit more appeal. One thing about judging is that you can't put a piece in. Does that bum you out at all? No, I'm fine. I'm fine with that. It's funny, I feel like Dungeons and Dragons is quite popular with women. I wonder what the demographic breakdown on Dungeons and Dragons is. And I wonder if women are more likely to enjoy cooperative games. So, ladies, could I interest you in some Kingdom Death? How many golden demons have you won, by the way, Eric? 3. A gold and 2 bronze. No, I think that's true. They are the only company to sculpt pinup dudes, and I find the pinup dudes to be very amusing. Hey, Eric and chat, entered my first painting competition last weekend and won first prize. Thanks for the streams. It helped me level up my painting. Congratulations. Let's get a congrats. Congrats for Black Bladder. Good job. Glad to be of some assistance. Kingdom Death is a game on the human condition. The struggle for survival and finding our way in darkness. So I'm going to grab some of this Purpura Oscura. Shouldn't that be Purpura? So purple. Oscuro. Why is it Oscuro in this case? Shouldn't it be Oscura? Are all colors masculine? Where's my Spanish experts? Shouldn't this be purpura oscura? Is it el purpura? Same in Portuguese? Colors are all masculine? I mean, I figured it was correct. Like, I didn't think they were going to get the Spanish name on a Spanish company's bottle wrong. I was more asking for my own curiosity. La naranja? Okay, so is the color? Most qualifiers don't know if that's the correct term or male. So the color orange, is it el naranja? And the fruit is la naranja? Would that be correct to say? I'm so confused, guys. Help me out. Express are good contrast paints? Yeah, they're good. They work. They work basically the same. So this will basically use this like a wash just to get some of the I'm mixing it with a little black and then thinning it down slightly. Like that's too much black. So I'm mixing it with a little black, adding some water to thin it down a little bit, and then we're going to use this like a wash. Because I was too lazy to find a violet wash somewhere. I learned something today. Spanish grammar lessons or Latin rooted grammar lessons. Okay. So, by the way, as someone with such an intense output, have you ever burned out on or got bored by miniature painting? I talked about this I don't remember what episode it was. So, I don't get bored with miniature painting. I've never been burned out of painting, right? I love painting, but I have gotten burned out of specific subjects. So, like, I got burned out on specifically box arts for a bit, where I was just like, it was one box art after another, and I didn't necessarily feel like I was doing enough painting for myself. I've been burned out on doing like a competition entry stuff. So I've been trying to, even recently, I've been trying to do more painting that is, for me, right? So, and teaching and stuff affords me the ability to do this a little more because I don't rely as much on commissions for my livelihood now. I can do more things like the stream where we paint fun KDM models, or I can paint kill team stuff, and then when I am in the not necessarily the mood, right? But when I'm feeling like doing a figure that is more intense than or involved, I can do that. But yeah, I have a healthy mixture now of fun, easy projects. I would consider this a fun, easy project, right? I have no expectations on it in terms of like the level of finish or anything like that. I can just paint and enjoy. And when I decide it's done, it's done. Because no matter how poorly it is painted. I think I'll still be happy with it. Right? As long as I'm happy with it, that's what matters. You're welcome. I hope that answered your question. But no, I've never gotten tired of painting. I've gotten tired of aspects of the business side of it before. The grind, you know? I'll be honest, I can't imagine being a commission army painter. To paint 400 ultramarines, maybe probably not that many, but let's say 100 for a client army commission. Ooh, boy, no thank you. But all the more power to the people that can do that. So you can see the difference in definition, like adding the wash or whatever here. Call it a wash, I guess. It's basically what we're using it as. I must admit that I was never able to make sense of the business side of miniature painting. Every time I even start to think about what one would have to reasonably charge to make ends meet, I could never imagine anyone paying anything close to that. You'd be surprised. People are definitely willing to pay a reasonable amount. There are clients that, are happy to pay good amount of money, but you're also dealing with, you can't paint everything to a golden demon level, and professionals find ways to do things faster or whatever, okay, here's if I was going to, all right, yes, there is a big museum in Vegas for collector stuff. But let's say this. All right. Maybe this is not the best example, but because it did win a demon. But let's say you were going to commission me to paint you a kill team of 6 models, right? Let's say I was going to paint you the Plague Marine kill team or something. Okay. I wouldn't, because then it would take the joy out of it for me. Hello. Thanks for the Prime, the 13 months. Well, let's say you were going to commission me for a kill team. 6 models. All right. Give me a number. All right. We'll just throw out a number that you would reasonably expect to pay for a kill team painted by me. Good evening, Eric and chat. You can throw out whatever number you want, just be realistic. Good evening, Eric and chat. Glad to catch a bit of the stream before going to bed. Love your MVP technique. Thanks, man. First thought, 1,000. 3 to 4 times retail, not happening, dude. Is what a typical cost is, I think. Yeah, okay. For who? So you're getting a tabletop, you're getting a paint job by, I'm saying at the level I would paint a kill team for myself. Yeah. If you're not familiar. Sure. But the guy on TikTok this is not me. He's not me trying to be arrogant, but has he won a golden demon with his tabletop models? Flapjack, thanks for the 9 months. Thanks for the prime. All right, so let's say you get a golden demon quality paint job. Okay, so I got a lot of people saying around 1,000. Okay, now let's do the math and see if that makes sense for me. For me as a painter. All right, I'm gonna pull up the old calculator. So let's say I could paint each one to that level. 650 per figure that's a good amount. We're getting reasonable now. So let's see, it takes around 10 hours, I would imagine, is how long it would take me to paint a plague marine to the level that I can. Okay. Times 6, 60 hours. Okay. At $1,000 divided by 60 hours, that is $16 an hour. 16 repeating decimals an hour. That is not worth my time. 650 is good and slightly on the high side. I didn't say it was golden demon level. I said it was my golden demon level, my level. Okay, my tabletop level, what I would paint my own models at, the level I would paint my own models to. By the way, thanks, Legion of Paint. There you go, Eric tabletop level. Okay. What I would paint for myself. This is why I would never do it, because I don't want to. So let's say it's $50 an hour times, we said it would take 60 hours. 3,000 seems like a good amount, okay? If I was to paint a Space Marine kill team, depending on the kill team, obviously something like Night Lords or Plague Marines is going to take a little more time than like an Angels of Death team, right? I could paint probably an Angels of Death team much faster. Okay. Maybe Angels of Death would be like 2,500 and Plague Marines would be 3,000. That's now you're at a value that I would consider. I wouldn't consider it because I don't want to do it. And instead, for the same amount, I could charge. I like to keep my work painting, right, and my fun painting separate. So I don't take army commissions. It's just not a thing I do. But if I was going to, that's about what I would charge for a kill team. And there are definitely people that would pay it. I'm a huge fan. Thank you for sharing art. Thank you. Now, how many people can charge that much for something like that? Not a lot. Now, if I could get them down to 2 hours a miniature, but obviously they wouldn't be at the... So let's say I was selling my roommate's models. We painted them each in about 2 hours, right? Using airbrush, some quick like washes, decals. I edge highlighted them a bit for him, but it was basically airbrush, base coats, a little bit of edge highlighting, right? Some panel line wash. Okay. Each Marine took 2 hours, painted them all in a day. Basically the whole 6-man team in a day, right? Okay, a day. So 400, yeah, would be something like that. That would be like decent money, but I would go crazy doing stuff like that. Like I would go insane painting an army like that. Especially if I did that every day. But then again, then you're not really getting me, right? You're not, if you're paying me to paint your miniatures, you want my painting, not Eric's speed painting, slap some colors down, right? All right, let's see. When things are viewed as high quality art, they'll put down, yeah, I mean, people are willing to pay what they're willing to pay, right? Do you prefer mixing your paints or getting most of the paints pre-mixed? I normally mix. Even if I use pre-mixed colors, I end up mixing anyways. Yeah, so I would never even offer like a quick tabletop speed painting, because like this is like if you take something like I'm trying to think of a studio, right? Like let's say you were to hire, we'll use them just as an example, Siege Studios, okay? When you hire a company like that to paint your models, you're not hiring an artist. You're hiring, yes, it does cheapen your brand if I was to do that. You're hiring a company. You don't know who's painting your models. Brushmaster, hello. I will not answer. I'm sorry. I am not going to answer any questions on how I will approach judging Golden Demon. In terms of the like the methodology or anything like that. I am under NDA. I cannot speak about the processes or anything that goes into the actual judging. What was I talking about? Oh yeah. So when you hire someone like Siege Studio, right? They then commission that out to someone else. So you're just buying painted figures, right? You're not really buying a specific person. So it depends on what you value, you know? But I think if you're hiring a specific painter to paint your models, then that's because you want them painted in the style of the person who's doing them, not just because you just want some painted figures. Yeah, I mean Siege Studios, I believe And a lot of the companies that do this have like these different levels that they consider, but you still don't really know who's doing your models, I don't think. Yeah, makes sense. All right. How did we get on this topic? Oh, anyway, cool. All right, I'll be right back. BRB. Yep. Yeah, so like the Fiverr video, right? We're talking about that Squidmore Fiverr video, which I was in one of them. Choker of Chickens, hello, as the professional in the video, which the other person that they had painting with me, like on the same model, is also a professional. And I will tell you that the prices in some of the Squidmore videos are not accurate. Shh, don't tell anyone that he didn't give the actual exact prices of some of those. Yeah, exactly. I will say some of those Fiverr painters and stuff. Let's take someone like, is Jonas in the chat? Jonas was also in one of the Fiverr videos as the Fiverr painter doing the dragon. You have someone like Jonas who's very young and still lives with his parents, which is fine. He's like 19. Okay. Makes sense. He is able to, he has basically no like income, career, whatever, right? Someone like him, or someone who does painting as a hobby, can supplement their income and charge like a low amount because they're not an established professional, right? They're not doing this as a living. Exactly. It's a side hustle. They're basically using their models, or they're using your model, your commission, as practice to paint on a free model that they then sell and make some money back so they can spend it on travel or whatever. Or buying their own figures, whatever. So they're kind of using your figures as practice models, right? Because they haven't established themselves as a professional painter, and that's fine. But anyone who's charging triple the price of the box or quadruple the price of the box for the figure, if you're charging, let's say a box of a Space Marine costs $30 and you're charging $90 to paint a librarian to a high level, and that takes you, I don't know, 15 to 20 hours to paint because you're not practiced to paint it in 10 to a certain level, like, you're not making any money, dude. And you cannot, that is not sustainable. You can't live that way. So yeah, and maybe in the lower income country you could. But then once you pay for shipping and then you get into shipping and everything else and price of paints and brushes and everything, like, dude, you ain't making any money like that. You're basically just painting models for practice and hopefully breaking even, but definitely not on your time. Realm of Color, Choker Chickens, hello, welcome. Thanks for following. I brought these, speaking of tabletop models, I brought the the Squire's up. So maybe you remember Iola. We did her on stream a while back. She's done. We also have Owen. Mr. Owen here, a little guy. He's done. All 4 of them are done. I'll show them to you, but woo! You're gonna be in London? Cool. So this is Owen. Here is Kane. This is a Kingdom Death. Hi, Realm of Color. Yes, I am doing well. And then L, who I originally, or L-E, I don't know, L, E-L-L-E, who I originally painted with brown hair, because one of the artworks of her, the box artwork of her, has kind of brownish hair, and then I find out that in lore she's supposed to have red hair. Maybe she does. But yeah. So I changed it. I went, whoops. Oh, by the way, I know you do some workshops in Europe. Are they like private events organized by some local groups the outsider can't get on? So some are organized by like, it depends. Some are organized by like workspaces. So Black Crow, they're open. But then you have ones like Mark Mosklin's studio. If he organizes a workshop, then he offers it first. It's like first availability goes to his students, and then if it doesn't sell out, it's probably going to sell out. It normally goes to, then it would open up to like the public, but it just depends. It depends like on if a club organizes it or if like a business organizes it. So I've taught at I've taught at Black Sun in the UK. I've taught at Element Games. Those were both open to the public. But then, yeah, like teaching at if a club organizes it, normally it sells out through the club first, and then maybe there's some available spots. Sorry, man. But I can recommend reaching out to Andy Wardle or Albert for coaching if you're looking for that. Both of them I would trust very much to give good coaching. Albert Moretto Font, 3-time Slayer Sword winner, also offers private coaching. He might know what he's doing. Just saying. Only 3. What a shame. Yeah. Yeah, just lucky. probably. Okay, so this is a little gray at the moment. It's getting kind of close in color to the, what's it called? So maybe I want to change up the color here. It'd probably work. Let's just go with it, because this is going to end up changing too to a more cold color. So right now this feels very similar in terms of tone to the base of the, what's it called? The fur. But I think it'll work okay as we build up the light more and more. So I'm happy with it being this kind of grayish color. Notice I'm not trying to overdo any details at this point, okay? I want to just get like the general shape of the hands in first before I go trying to go crazy on details. So you could see like I'm only leaving a tiny bit of that base coat behind. I'll rely on further layers to start to define some of the like the veins and stuff in the arms and hands, and allow these midtones that we're painting now to become shadows as we work further up in terms of value. No new abbreviations today. We're just painting some dead flesh. Some dead flesh tones, you know? This is also why I didn't go crazy blending the cape robes yet. Yeah, I've had speaking of commissions and stuff, I've had plenty of requests for like Games Workshop or Kingdom Death commissions. And I've turned them all down because, like I said, it's just not something I'm interested in. I think it's important to, even though both my hobby and my job are painting, I think it's important to keep those separated, right? I'm able to like mentally separate the two things, as one being like a hobby and the other being my work. And I think it, don't cross the streams, you know? And I think it makes me a happier painter because of that. True dead flesh. Yeah, this is not non-dead flesh. Not NDF. We're doing TDF. Yeah. What if you guys have any other questions about, life of a professional painter or anything like that, feel free to ask. I think I'm generally an open book when it comes to stuff like this. Yeah, you don't want to focus on the details too early is the thing. Bigger picture, right? Like, we need to focus on the whole hand and arm first, and then focus on individual details. And even beyond that, I'm focused on all the arms put together as like a big cone, right? All right, question time. You yourself is a notoriously fast painter, but how long does it take you to do a Golden Demon winner? You guys can actually watch me paint one of the Space Marines. It takes me about 10 hours to paint a Space Marine, depending on how fancy he is. Like the Scouts maybe took me 8 hours. Some of the Intercessors some of the Scouts I think were even faster than that, maybe closer to like 6 or 7 hours. And then some of the bigger Marines, like the Gravis guys, take a little longer because they just have more details. And they were maybe like 10 to 12 hours. And then depending on how much freehand and stuff I do, will take a little extra time. But I would say on average about 10 hours for a 32 millimeter model. Like this guy was probably like 7 or 8 hours maybe. He's not super fancy. So the most serious competition piece you've painted is less than 20 hours? No, not even close. Bane Bloodhoof back there, which is a model that's like this big, took me like it took me like 2 weeks of working like 12 hours a day on it. I would say it's mixed. How long did it take me to paint Mephiston? 6 days at about 12 hours a day. Maybe, so it was 5 days, I think. 5 days. So, I don't know, let's say 50 to 60 hours. Probably 60 hours. Have I ever done a piece with true metallic? Yeah, for sure. I have. It's not really my thing, but I've done it before. What is the best way to find okay, hold on. Seems like a serious question. What is the best way to find the particular market that desires your particular work? As in, how did you go from completely unknown to well paid for your work? What obstacles did you have overcome to have the work come to you? Was it ever seeming like you could not get any commissions or attention for your work? So I did not even start selling figures until after I had won some major competitions. So I think the best thing you can do is just like going to shows in person is a big thing. If you want to sell your work, network, and get your name out there. Like I won gold at Monte before I ever did a commission piece. Then the work started coming to me, and once that happened, like once I started doing box arts, then it became like, then it's like the floodgates are opened, and it's like, oh, this guy's doing commissions now. I would like to hire him to do a commission. So it's yeah. What's your dollar-hour ratio for commission, if that's okay to say? It really depends on the figure. Like, I wish I could calculate it perfectly, but it's dependent on the figure. Some paid more, some paid less. Just because the figure maybe was more complicated than I thought it would be, or I got particularly involved in doing a specific thing on it. So yeah, it's hard to say because that's very dependent on the actual figure. I can tell you certain figures have sold for more just because of what they are, like the accolades they got and stuff. So they did better than some other pieces in terms of money. You ever given FU price? Yes. And it was accepted. I heard this, you say the only thing you really went all out on was your Monte Sansevino winner. How do you know you can still hit the highs and not lose that very high-end skill? Okay, that is not quite an accurate statement, Nellen. The thing I said about the Monte piece was that it was the only figure that was with the intention of trying to win a best of show. Okay, like if we took the pirate and the mermaid this year, that one also sort of had the intention to enter it at World Model Expo, but was not quite the same for me as the vein. So I go all out on a lot of figures. It's just what the intention behind it is, right? So even like my most recent, the class bus that I currently teach on, like I went all out on that figure. I wanted to paint that figure the best I possibly could, and I'm very happy with it. But it wasn't with the intention of like entering it into a competition, you know? The intention was as like a study to learn or whatever. So I think the intention behind why you paint is very important. And normally my intentionality is not to paint to win a contest. It's to paint just because I want to learn or do better at a specific thing, or just do the best I can on a model. Right? Does that make sense? The differentiation there? Could I add to the commission question? That is to keep your name out there once you start. Otherwise, you get a bit forgotten. Yeah, I mean, yes, you relevancy is definitely a thing, you know? Do you ever like to utilize airbrush glazing or blending? I only ask because I never see you do it. Yes, I do. You should go watch the, if you want to see airbrush blending, you can watch, I don't know which part it is. Maybe it's part 2 of the Black Knight, which is the villain of, or the monster for these characters. But I did quite a bit of airbrush blending on that model. So if you want to see some airbrush blending, I think it's the Black Knight part 2, but in one of them I used the airbrush. That's very interesting. Thanks for saying. What do you feel you did differently with that motivation? I think it's more just reframing it for myself. Like that I'm like, why am I painting? Why do I enjoy this? What am I trying to get out of it? Arnau was doing his podcast recently, and he said something very interesting. That when you why do you paint? If gold is painting your hobby, or is Golden Demon your hobby, right? And I think that's very interesting. Like an interesting question to pose. This is like a psychological, like getting very kind of deep into philosophy and therapy of like, you know, what is motivation and why do we do things, and like reframing things in a way for us. Like, yeah, and I found his question of being like, yeah, is painting your hobby, or is Golden Demon your hobby? And if the award is more important to you than the like process of painting it, then one, you can kind of set yourself up for disappointment, and two, like the goal doesn't become to paint a good figure. The goal is to win a trophy, right? So it's like, what do you want out of it? Why do you do it? I feel like every time I paint something thinking this is for X competition, I lose steam on the project really fast. Yeah, then just paint for you. And when you finish something, then you can take it if you want, right? That's normally how it works for me. I mean, I have deadlines, and I work, and like from a personal standpoint, I find I work quite well under deadlines. I find deadlines to be motivational. So for me, often I'll say like, not that I want to paint this figure for X competition. Like the intention isn't like I want to win this competition with this figure, but instead like I would like to finish this piece by this competition in order to show it, right? So they can work well as deadlines to me to complete something, but it doesn't, like, I don't put a level of like what's the word I'm looking for? I don't stress myself out over like what the results are going to be. Oh man, yeah, like winning a medal, external validation is definitely a thing, and it's nice, and like winning an award is nice. But when that validation becomes like the only thing you're seeking, if your happiness relies on that validation, then I don't think that's healthy at that point. Like if the only joy you get out of miniature painting is the validation of the metal, then maybe you don't actually enjoy painting. I've run into the psychological side of art before. At one point, I stopped drawing for a bit. I began to question if I stopped because I no longer had a school audience to witness my work or any criticism that came with the audience. I mean, yeah, you have to decide like why you do it. And for most of you, right, I have changed from a professional side. It is my line of work. So it's 50-50 my line of work. My work is also as an instructor, but you start to, like, majority of you, I would say probably 99% of the audience watching this probably do it as a hobby. And I started as a hobby also. And I did it because I enjoyed it. And I did it because I enjoyed the learning aspect of it and pushing myself. Es buenas noches. Actually, buenas tardes. Buenas noches is like good night. Or you could just say muy buenas. Live WFB. Hello. And I think goals are good. Like having goals for yourself is a good thing. But also goals can sometimes lead to disappointment where you reach a goal and then you can feel lost after that. Like cool, I did the thing. Now what? And you're just like, right? So sometimes looking back and saying, like, asking yourself, like, well, why did I get into this in the first place? Can lead to a happier hobby, I think. What a therapy session we're having today, huh? Disclaimer, I am not a licensed therapist. Blah, 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 blah. I found Instagram to be quite bad. At one point, I was chasing likes and follows. Learned my lesson. Now, barely post on there. I don't think there's anything wrong about posting on Instagram. Like, you can post on Instagram, and obviously you get those little dopamine hits. But, like, yeah, don't look at the numbers and stuff. Like, whoo, chasing that algorithm. That's a thing, man. I mean, I post on Instagram because I kind of have to. Sort of part of my job. All right. What do we want? What kind of color do we want for our skin here? We want sort of a greenish color. Some kind of pale green. I don't want to go with like a lime green, but some sort of like green gray sort of tone should work well, like a light green pastel thing here. Just looking to see if I see anything interesting. Warm gray is also interesting. This is like, maybe we'll use a little of this and then jump up to another one. Renarin, hello, welcome, thanks for the prime. Is that Renarin named after, I don't know how it's spelled, because is that like Renarin from, what's the name of that book? Stormlight? Nah, it ain't. Nah, this ain't me. I don't eat babies. Maybe I should. Wonder what baby tastes like. Overrated. Thanks for the prime. 19 months. Wow. I'm getting mixed message. YouTubers keep saying enter a competition, but at the same time, don't seek external validation. Pick one, influencers. I think this is, like I said, it's important to understand why you're doing something, right? What's the reasoning behind it? Why are you entering the competition? Are you entering to see how you stack up? Are you entering to maybe because you want to evaluate your skill level? Maybe you're entering just to just for fun. Maybe you're entering so that you can hang out with friends and talk miniatures, and you just want to be part of the group, so you enter so that you don't feel like you're left out, you know? That FOMO of going to a show and not having something in. Because I will be honest, a lot of people, when you go to these miniature shows, they're going to be like, oh, did you enter something? I'd love to see it. Show me your piece. And if you don't have anything, it can feel like, oh, I didn't bring anything. No, I didn't enter anything this year. Since we're on the topic, painting mentality, do you ever deal with specific skills deteriorating or just being rusty? And if so, how do you deal with the mindset of this work is not as good as I've done before and could do? I don't know. I don't really deal with that because I don't ever take long enough breaks to know what like I think to have deteriorating skills. I don't know, like I guess like brush control or something would be like the one you maybe would have to worry about, but I feel like you would catch on pretty fast. I think I paint just too much for that. I found volunteering to judge at a scale model competition much more helpful than entering. Really teaches you what others see when looking at your models. If I ever entered a piece, it would be an excuse to hang out, get drunk, and meet new people. That's a good reason to go to painting competitions. I spent 3 years in art school, got my degree, but also got sick of it. Haven't done anything creative in about 7 years. Discovering miniature painting about a year ago and giving it a go has been liberating. When pressure goes away, sometimes the fun comes back. Yeah, for sure. This is why I enjoy my little gaming minis. So there's no pressure here. While I'm painting this guy, there's zero pressure. When I paint a commission, there is some pressure. Not pressure to like get a medal or anything like that. Not pressure to please the client, right? The pressure I put on myself to paint to a certain level. Oh, you guys are moving fast tonight, the chat. I think I do it for all of those things. I enjoy measuring my abilities to others. I enjoy the validation I receive. I win something. I really enjoy chatting about the hobby with others and enjoy it as much as me. And competition gives me the extra boost of what can I do better next year. Yet some people have, I will tell you, I am one of those people that take failure in a way that is, I would think, is healthy. When I have someone that does something better, right? If like someone performs better than me at a contest, I also don't tend to get disappointed. In fact, I will often look and go like, yeah, this fires me up. Like, that's really good. That's super impressive. And I need to do better. Like, I need to push more in order to push my level higher, right? Like, I will say, and it doesn't even have to be in a contest. It could just be like seeing a painting by a friend. Like when I see Mark or somebody paint something and I'm like, damn, that's really good. Like, I need to push more. That's a good feeling for me. Like, that gets me fired up. You don't even have to enter the competition. They can't stop you from getting drunk. True. I think a lot of people feel that way, Five Jack. Is like, yeah, I'll read that. I find that I never want to paint more than when I'm leaving a competition. I think that is a general, pretty normal feeling for people. Like, a lot of people get quite inspired, right? To go home and start working on something. I've only been disappointed when a judge dropped my model. Has that ever happened to you? Are you asking if I've ever dropped a model, or have I dropped someone's model? I don't think I've definitely broken a model, but it was like the person submitting it went, this might break. Like, they went like, yeah, it fell apart in the car, so if it breaks, don't worry about it. I think we broke Roxana's model at Nova. And she was like, yeah, it broke on the plane and I tried to fix it, so if it breaks, like, no worries. And it's like breathed on it wrong and the sword snapped off or something. No one's ever dropped one of my figures before. I've dropped my own figures before, and I don't worry about it that much. It's just plastic. You can fix it. You built it the first time. You can which is not what people want to hear in the moment, but that's how I feel anyways. I was like, it's just plastic. Come on. Glue it back together. Oh, on Bane? Yeah, Customs opened it and like broke all the feathers, and one of the feathers was lost. I had to like re-glue all the feathers to his headdress and and like the horn and everything, and resculpt one or two of them. I don't remember. Yeah, it was bad. Customs went through that box. Gotta go to Torin, the Minotaur. Yeah, why are you crying? It's just plastic. Yeah, I know people don't want to hear that, but it's true though. I was working on a figure of box art for Privateer Press, one of the Monster Apocalypse figures. It was a 3D print. We often did 3D prints like before the production models, just because like the molds and stuff hadn't been made yet, but they wanted to work on the box arts. And it was like this zombie Aztec or Mayan thing. And I dropped that thing, and it was like all the resin is like high precision resin that they use for the 3D prints. And that thing shattered into like 30 pieces. Like all of the fingers broke off the hands and everything. It really came apart. So I was like on the ground with my flashlight on my phone, like digging through the carpet to find the fingers of this model that had and I was close to being done painting it at the time. And, I found all the fingers and everything and glued them back together and cleaned up had to sand a little and clean up where the cracks and stuff were, and put it back together, finished painting it, and you can't tell at all. So wood floor is better than carpet until it goes flying across the room because it bounces 90 times. And also, a plastic model, I'm less worried about breaking on carpet than I am on a hardwood floor. So now you can see I'm starting to like introduce some detail into the hand, right? Like leaving some shadows in the knuckles and stuff. This figure is just giving me insight into absolutely how ridiculously long the gambler is going to take to paint. Ooh, looking forward to that one. I'm not. I am and I'm not at the same time. The one I'm actually looking for. Which one is the gambler? It's a giant ball of naked people. It's like Atlas, you know, the statue of Atlas holding up the earth. It's like that, but with a ball of people. A ball of bodies. Just Google KDM gambler. I'm not going to take the model out because it's like 200 and some naked bodies, so Twitch might not be happy about it. Have you ever done a box art for KDM? Do they have box art? They sort of do. It's not really box art, but they've commissioned like Elizabeth Bradford and Zumi Kito and stuff to do the like studio models that they bring to like Gen Con and stuff, but they don't they're not like box arts like in the typical sense, like they're not on the actual box. So but to answer your question, no, I have never been commissioned by Adam. And if he asked, I would maybe say yes. I don't know. Depends on if I get to keep the model or not. If he said yes, if I get to keep the model, then sure. Because I want my own. Like, I want my copy. Right? Yeah. Fine with eating baby. Dude, Twitch loves eating babies. Dude, I would love, like, Ivory Dragon, I'm actually super looking forward to. I enjoy a, like, seriously challenging model from time to time. Like, models that you go, you know, some people go like, oh, I bought this model and it's intimidating and I'm scared to start it because I don't know if I'm going to do a thing. I'm like, yeah, dude, give me this model with, like, ridiculous details, like, that gets me kind of excited. I'm like, oh, this is why I was saying I'm kind of dreading, like, I know I can paint a ball of people, so I'm not really worried about painting the gambler. It's more just like, I know the tedium that it's going to be to paint the gambler. What's the best way to buy KDM? Well, you buy it from their website, or you could, the best way is to wait for Black Friday, which you missed. They occasionally run sales. Black Friday is always their, like, big sale. They often associate with Black Friday because that's like when they launched the Kickstarter and stuff, so. How often do you paint diffused light as an overall light across the model, or do you prefer directional? Well, I would say I'm painting kind of a diffused light right now, right? There's no, like, super clear light source on this guy. There's no, like, cast shadows or anything, so it just depends. It depends on what kind of vibe I'm going for, you know? What's the vibes? What's the model telling me? You know, what's the environment? What's the scene? Did you see, Steve, did you see I imagine you saw the ivory dragon in person, right? Just how big is it? Is it actually 3 feet tall? Because that seems like a slight overestimation. Yeah, when the model told me as he is painting a guy eating babies. Yeah, dude, this guy's a baby eater. Like, you know, what's this model? What does it speak to me? Yeah. Yeah, I haven't seen it in person, so I'm curious, like, what the actual scale of it is. That's what I'm gonna have to paint in parts. Like, there's no way I'm gonna paint that thing. It's pretty freaking big. Yeah, well, I mean, this guy's pretty freaking big for, I can't even fit him all on camera, like, at the same time. There, he barely fits on camera as the entire model. Like, this model's pretty freaking big for a Kingdom Death model. For a miniature, but that doesn't describe to me just how gigantic the ivory dragon is. The difference between a foot tall and 3 feet tall on a miniature is a big difference. I think currently Atnas is actually one of the tallest models in the game. Like, he might be... No, Dragon King has to be taller. But he's definitely up there. He might be the second tallest model released at the moment. I think the Dragon King is taller. I think Dragon King's like... would be like up here on him in terms of height. You say in your videos rounded out, referring to cheeks and other sphere-like objects. Are you referring to making sure the values are wider in contrast? Are you referring to making sure the values, or can you rephrase the question at the end there? Or making sure the values are rounded out is like, I mean, like literally like the shape should be rounded. Okay. So like you don't end up with like super hard geometric lines, right? Like when you're painting any sort of organic material, you want to avoid too many hard edges because hard edges is not very natural. Hands. I'm also, if we're talking about more Kingdom Death models, because boy, do I like talking about Kingdom Death. One of the other models I'm quite looking forward to is the Goblin Dragon. Is it the Goblin Dragon? Goblin King, whatever. One that looks like some crazy stuff out of a, like, Princess Mononoke, like, weird. Like, that thing's cool. The Abyssal Woods mashed chicken. Yeah, exactly. What are your current plans for the the Gambler's Flashball? I have no current plans. He's not on my he's not currently in my queue to like get done right away. There is plenty other monsters and stuff that I want to get done. Sadly, the Gambler is one of those fights that you only do if you play the Gambler's Chest expansion. Where I kind of think of it like, unless it's just like, oh, I love this model, I want to paint it right now because I'm super in the model. I often find that I tend to paint models that are more likely to be used often. Is there a KDM gallery somewhere? There's the KDM Collector, I think, is a website that you can go to. Like Frog Dog right here, you know? He's a level 1 hunt. You are often likely to, if you play with him and he can go in any campaign, right? You're going to see this model probably more than most, right? So getting the level 1 models like the lion, the crocodile, frog dog, gorm painted, you know, is more interesting to me. Then things like the knights and stuff, like I paint the knights because I just like them. I think they're cool. Flower knight, dung beetle knight, stuff like that. Like, I like to get those painted just because I enjoy them. Those ones I really enjoy, like, at the actual painting process. And then, but like I've had, the Phoenix reminds me of Berserk. You just literally described Kingdom Death. Reminds me of Berserk. Yes. What's the other? Like the Phoenix. I've had Phoenix for years, and I haven't painted them yet because, one, I don't like hunting that monster. I will avoid playing with the Phoenix when possible because I don't find the fight to be enjoyable. So I'm in no rush to paint that model. Being aged out of existence just doesn't know. It's just, the whole fight doesn't feel good. I just don't like that fight. I hate the spiral age mechanic. It's so annoying. Like, oh, you have to go in insane. So basically guarantee that like every survivor that goes into that fight has 10 insanity so you can get rid of the thing. And then every turn he's we can get kind of nerdy about like the actual mechanics of the game real fast. He's a survival hog. Like, he requires too many survival actions in order to fight effectively. Like, you're constantly trying to surge or dash to get rid of your spiral age. So you have to surge to get rid of your spiral age. Then you can attack. And sometimes one of his reactions might put more spiral age on you. So the next turn you have to surge again to attack, or you're wasting turns. And then if you're tanking, you're constantly getting spiral age tokens. So your tank basically is forced to like either never attack because he's getting spiral age. So he's either spending the turn putting up deflex or getting rid of spiral age so he doesn't cease to exist. And then he's also spending to not get blasted with the wind thing. So you have to, every time he performs a basic action, which is every turn, you have to dash away from the second part of the attack because he's going to like wind gust you, which gives you bleeding tokens and will instant kill you. Well, not instant kill you, but eventually kill you if you get hit with too many. So screw that boss. I don't like him. All that's to say is not a fan. And then if you've never fought a level 3, he has an ability called Deja Vu, which is one of the worst mechanics in, like, worst cards in the whole game. It's the stupidest thing. It just can, like, instantly wipe your team. Sounds like a Dark Souls boss. You just described Kingdom Death. Sounds like a Dark Souls boss meets Berserk. Well, there you go. I mean, Dark Souls is basically Berserk. Yeah. Take a look at the Ivory Dragon. It's super cool. Yeah, Bodhi, if you're looking for an expansion to replace, I mean, play the Phoenix, like, you know, get an idea of what it's like. But if you're looking for an expansion to replace the Phoenix, I highly recommend Sunstalker because he also comes with his own campaign, and it's very cool. In order of buying expansions, Gambler's Chest and Sunstalker would be my number one. Like, who's the upside down dude you painted? That's Pariah. He's a new expansion. We have not fought him yet. Got my first KDM model, the collab between them and Hyperlight Drifter. The Drifter. He's cool, yeah. I like that the model design a lot. They did a good job, like doing a collab and mixing him where he feels like a KDM character, but also still like very reminiscent of his character design from Hyperlight Drifter. Beyond the Box Art, hello, welcome. Hi, everyone. Welcome in. How was your stream? Which do you like more, People of the Sun or People of the Stars? So, in terms of campaigns, I like People of the Stars better as a campaign. People of the Sun is a little annoying in terms of bookkeeping. It also doesn't feel the best without some of the white boxes where you like can ignore the heavy restriction of like the lion armor and stuff. So sadly his campaign is not as good as the Dragon King, but the actual fight is awesome. I do like the Dragon King campaign. It's a pretty good one. Thank you. I saw the picture of his set and it comes with upside down. So how does that work? So he has a fight when you get to the level 3 where you fight on the ceiling. So basically they made a bunch of models upside down to represent like when you're playing on the game board. Because every fight other than Black Knight uses the same game board. It's basically to like give the effect that you're fighting him on the ceiling instead of fighting him on the ground, which is cool. I am, thank you. Yeah, Pry is cool. I like the model a lot, which is why I painted him. You know? I didn't know if I would, like I said, sometimes I paint them because I think they're just cool, and I'm excited to paint the actual model. And then sometimes I paint them like because I know I'm going to be playing with them quite a bit, and I want to get them painted nice. Like Frog Dog, for example. Is this my favorite model in the game? Would this have been the next model I chose to paint? No. But, like, I know he's going to get used quite a bit, so that's why I'm painting him. Atnas probably won't get used very much, but I'm painting him just because I thought it would be fun to paint on stream, and it's Christmas themed, so I thought it would be a fun little thing to do. I'm not taking it back. I've got my opinions. I don't love the Frog Dog model. He's not my favorite, you know? I would have painted Crocodile first, but we're playing a campaign with Frog Dog, so I figured, you know, of the two, might as well paint him. But I would have painted Crocodile before Frog Dog because I think Crocodile looks cooler. And the customer is always right in matters of taste. Yeah, Crimson Croc is cool. Yeah. He's a cool one. One day I'll post a pic. I mean, you could see him on my Instagram, but I should post like a picture of all the monsters and stuff I've got painted, like all together. I don't have a ton. I think it's like 12 or something. Once I finish these two, that'll add some more, but most of the knights are painted, I think, though. Maybe all the knights are painted? I believe so. Flower Knight, Black Knight, Storm Knight, Gold Smoke Knight. Who am I missing? Am I missing anyone? Do you have a KDM model, monster or otherwise, that was most fun for you to paint? Ooh, that is a good question. Most fun. So they like the Crucible Knights in Elden Ring? Maybe. They're just knights, you know. You'll see. Storm Knight was very fun. I actually enjoyed Storm Knight a lot, which I wish he was in the actual game. I quite enjoyed painting him. Dung Beetle Knight was also pretty fun to paint, and he's weird. He's also a super cool fight. Surprisingly, I kind of enjoyed painting the Dragon King, and I don't like painting dragons, but thankfully he has like no scales. So the thing I dislike about painting dragons is painting a million scales, and he doesn't have any. So that was cool. It just sounds like a Souls-like board game. Yeah. Yeah. You're getting it, dude. I'm sure he'll come out at some point. I hope Storm Knight gets a general release with like actual rules at some point. Oh, burrito, yeah, man. Is there an is there an annoying poison swamp map? I mean, frog. Hold on. Someone say poison swamp. Huh? 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 Poison swamp? Is there Elden Ring style madness in this game? Well, there is. You have two types of health mechanics. You have armor and you have insanity. Insanity is your brain armor. So I would say more like Bloodborne in that way than like madness. Can you go so insane that your head explodes, if I remember correctly? I don't know if your head can explode from brain damage. I don't think so. Your head can explode from getting punched in the head, but I don't think your head can explode from yeah, like seeing crazy stuff. Can I become the Lord of Frenzy? Maybe. Yeah, head damage, a 1 or a 2 on the chart is your head explodes. You don't want to take damage in the head. You have a 40% chance of dying from getting punched in the head. Turns out, pretty good odds. You can die from brain damage, yes. It becomes very difficult if you accept darkness, though. But you could still get, like, debilitating disorders and stuff. Dying is not always the worst thing that can happen to you in KDM. You know the Squidmar guys on YouTube? Yes, I know them. I know them quite well. Why do you ask? All right. That's not bad. The hand's coming along. It's been two and a half hours. I mean, I'm going to keep painting because I want to just keep painting on this guy, but I'm going to need another quick break. So I want to continue painting these hands. I'm having a good time. It's just phobophobia, fear of fear. Yep. All right, I'll be right back, and then we will continue with the painting. BRB. So here's a question. All right, chat, ready? If you could come up with, since we're just talking about KDM, I was building the Wanderers like last week or something, you know, Hyperlight Drifter and Candy and Cola. I know they'll probably never do collabs again because of the issues that came with Zombicide and stuff. If they were to do a collab, what collab would you want to see? Official Berserk collab? Yeah. That'd be cool, but Arturius. Final Fantasy? Any particular character? The Settlers of Catan collab. the robber. It's just a meatball. Like, we just take that wool from you. Just shows up and takes all your wool. Yeah, I don't think Miyazaki would really I don't think he would get down with the KDM. I would want to see like Hollow Knight. Give me one that's got some weird bug related, some vermin related things, and uses a giant nail. Wait, where's the beard? The beard hasn't gone anywhere. I did trim it. Dragoons are cool. I do like some Dragoons. Kane is a classic. I'm all about spears though. I'm a spear enjoyer in King of Death. Give me a spear character who leaps. All about jumps. I got a little bit of green to this. Not too much. I'm afraid to add too much green. Yeah, and KDM I tend to gravitate towards the bows and spears. I like ranged. Turns out we figured out long ago that hunting animals with long pointy sticks was a good idea. Yeah, Perfect Slayer is worth killing off a bunch of your guys for, especially guys that have terrible debilitating disorders. We're not doing any NVV this session. We're painting what do we call it? Something NDF? Non-dead flesh? Or no, true TDF, true dead flesh. Oh, Whistling Mace is good. Just don't roll. Just don't roll bad. You have to manifest your own luck, dude. We were playing the other night, and I was just like, all right, I draw this hit location, go ahead and put them in that order, and I'm just going to crit this one and roll it, and it's just like, yeah, that's a 10. Like, you just claim that you're going to roll the crit, and then just roll the crit, you know? Manifest your dice rolls. Tainted Grail collab? I'm not familiar. Just roll it for it. Exactly. Just roll 9s and 10s with deadly weapons. Is that when we say just don't roll a 1, we roll a 1? Yeah, that's the opposite. See, you're manifesting negative luck when you do that, right? Like, don't say don't roll a 1. Like, that you're asking to roll a 1 when you do that. Hello, Sandy. Creepy Santa is creepy. Yeah, dude. Just try rolling 9s and 10s. Exactly. Have you tried just getting good? I don't know if you guys have tried this, but have you tried just like getting good? Oh, so this is a spoiler, and I don't remember if we did it or not. I think we still have to. There's a very funny thing with cheater. This is a spoiler for the gambler, but there's a very funny thing with cheater dice later, where the game literally asks you to deface one of your dice, and it permanently stays like that. The gambler is quite interesting as a monster. He does a lot of like weird fourth wall breaking stuff with the game. Which I find very funny and interesting. Good evening. Homestar Runner? No, come on. Dude, he's burninating. Can you imagine Trogdor with a bunch of just creepy human teeth? And human hands? I guess he already has big biceps. I'm surprised there's not like a Mothman or something yet. He has a tendency to use like cryptids and folklore and stuff in the in his game. I think there's quite a few properties that would not touch KDM with a 10-foot pole. They're like, no, we're good. I don't think we want you using our IP in your weird game full of hands. The fingers. There isn't anything Chupacabra-esque in KDM, is there? The Chupacabra. El Chupanibre? No, I don't think so. Oh, wait, there's the golden bat. Well, no, he's a bat. He's not a Mothman. I was like, there's that weird golden bat they showed. He hasn't really said what it's going to be. Unrelated, but were there Gunpla classes at Adepticon here? I noticed there are some this year. Yes, I believe so. I believe there was at least one. We're going to put Pennywise in the game. No spooky clowns. Or are we talking giant spider Pennywise? Because there's already a giant spider. A giant spider giant angular spider. I have not watched Welcome to Derry. Is that the one that's based on it? I watched the Fallout season premiere last night. It was pretty good. Wonder if the Manhunter is based on anything in particular. Like what were the if there was any, I wonder what the inspiration from the Manhunter was. Yeah, the first episode of Fallout came out. Don't go run off and watch it. We're still painting here. Hey, but if you've got Amazon Prime to watch it and you're not using it, you know, if you've got Amazon Prime to watch Fallout TV show and you've got a free Prime just laying around, you know, don't forget about that free Prime sub. Manhunter strikes me as Bloodborne. Yeah, it was like, he's like a cowboy, weird, like cowboy hangman kind of character. Who wants to tombstone pile drive you? Which is okay, I guess. Not as cool as a German suplex. Oh, I just looked up the most recent edition of KDM. Not saying, but you got to mean it. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's an expensive board game, but I will say it comes with a ton of content. So, I mean, hindsight would be to say go back in time and spend $1,600 for like $3,000 worth of stuff, but you know. It might even be more than that. Like in terms of the Kickstarter value at this point. But yeah, the cool thing is you don't have to buy it all, you know, unless you're like me. In which case I need it. See, the only reason I paint these Kingdom Death models on stream is so that I can claim all these Kingdom Death models on my taxes. Checkmate, IRS. It takes a little while to get used to them, but like once you do, it's not so bad. But yeah, it takes I would say normally like a couple sessions to kind of get used to it. You got, I mean, dude, if you got campaigns of death for $40, that's a good deal, dude. I mean, even the Gambler's Chest wasn't nearly supposed to be as much content as it ended up being. The Gambler's Chest during the campaign was supposed to be some fun little thing, like some little fun little bonus to the Kickstarter, and then it was like, whoops! I kept adding stuff. Someone could say that Adam has a problem with scope creep. Did anyone else back? Oh, did it? I don't remember if my roommate backed that or not. I can't remember. He's a big Berserk fan. And I know I showed it to him, but I can't remember if he told me if he backed it or not. I was speaking to Remy Tremblay at Monte, and he's the one that did a bunch of the box arts for it. And he said they were pretty cool. Like cool models. Fun to paint and stuff, so. Hands. Meh. What was that? What was that, Thunderbucks? If Buckus, if you don't mind me saying, I'm curious. Who made the what's it called? I think one thing is just to, like, whenever you do a Kickstarter or something like that, is like whether these companies, knowing whether these companies have a reputation for delivering on their campaigns or not. I am going to say I'm a little tired of the crowdfunding thing at this point. Creepy hands. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I don't know if tariffs really killed Comini or not. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I doubt it helped, but I don't think that was the primary cause. All right, last bit of highlight here. Last one is gonna be this kind of like bluish gray sort of thing. When I said I was obsessed with painting hands after painting the workshop bust, this isn't what I meant, you guys. Yeah, definitely picked the wrong game for not wanting to paint hands. And faces. Huh? Plenty of faces. I can tell you for a fact I do not spend that much time on. I think you could spend like double the time on a Kingdom Death model if you went crazy trying to like really paint like every stone face base thing like super detailed. I am not that guy. I'm like, yeah, this is good enough. Good enough, it's the base, whatever. Nice to see some like definition starting to get pulled out, you know? It certainly helps with the readability of the model, right? For your Kingdom Death minis that do not come with custom bases, do you make your own or something else? It depends. Some of them I've made custom bases for. Some of them, like some of the survivors, I'll just like freehand a base. Like these guys, the Black Knight and the what's it called? The Squires, because the Citadel is fought on kind of a scene that looks like this, where it's just like a flagstone. This is just plastic card that you can cut little circles out and then glue it on top of the existing bases, so you can get like textured plastic card. So if you wanna do that, that's an effective way to make some quick bases. AK has some. His beard's gonna be white. AK came out with some cool like terrain stuff that you can get, like rib cages and different like bone things that you could probably pretty easily add to bases. And then sometimes, yeah, I just use the default bases and just paint like a little kind of gray thing to them, because it's like. Yeah, I don't think you need to like go overboard sometimes on the base. With these models, like the gaming models, you're always playing them on the same like showdown board and stuff, anyways. So the level of like finish and stuff like that doesn't have to be crazy for me, anyways. Right? I mean, that's up to you how nuts you want to go on like making scenic bases and stuff. But sometimes for me it's like, yeah, like a survivor, if they're just standing on a gray kind of flat surface, like that can look okay. I think like Dung Beetle, I just did some dirt, you know, he's just rolling around in dirt. Yeah. I'm sure you could probably find some 3D printable or whatever, like acanthus plants or something. I imagine like Epic Basing probably has some cool stuff you could 3D print to add to their bases. Whether you want, yeah, like I said, like weird plants or whatnot. Okay, all right, okay. Hands. That took a while, huh? How about that? This model is very detailed. So I do want him to have a gray beard. I'm worried of going, well, I want him to have a white beard. And I'm a little worried of going too cold, okay? I might try a little bit just to see how it feels. But I'm worried about going like super cold because I don't want it to feel like steel. And I already have some like warmish whites in other parts of the figure, like the fabric is, or the fur like along his coat, I guess, whatever, robe is going to be more whitish or more warm. So maybe I'll go with like a more kind of neutral gray and see how I feel about that. Which through context should end up looking kind of cold in contrast. But it's going to be very white-ish. Let's add just a touch, huh? Just a smidge. See how quickly that just becomes blue, right? When we're dealing with like mostly, we're using cold reds and stuff, but like just how fast even something that's slightly blue-gray, right? This is not even close to blue, like a saturated blue, but you can see how quickly it starts to feel bluish. How big is my palette? It's like a normal A4 sheet of paper or something. It's just like a 8x10 or something like that. Just noticed the camera's like slightly zoomed, huh? I need to like zoom out the palette cam slightly. This is a size 3. I mean, no, this isn't some like giganto palette. Yeah, I think maybe just like a neutral gray is gonna work better for us here. Instead of trying to go like more cold. You can see just how light that base coat is I'm doing is. This is a very, this is definitely on the lighter side. I don't want it too black, right? If I go too dark here, It's not going to look like thick and fluffy, and which his beard is definitely more on the wiry side than a nice bushy Santa beard. But yeah, we want to avoid making it too dark in order that it doesn't look like, we don't want it to look like gray hair. We want it to look like white, unnaturally, like pure white, you know? So the only way to achieve that, because we can't go brighter than pure white, is we have to use lighter shadows. The velvet robe looks spectacular. Thank you. Still needs some blending, but it's I'm mostly happy with the effect. Santa Claus is coming to town. Santa Claus is gonna eat your babies. And one thing I find interesting is, like, look how dark this looks on the palette surrounded by some of these lighter colors, and then when I actually put it on the model, it looks quite bright. Hi, Joe. I'm pretty sure there's a crit where you can knock babies out of his pocket, if I remember this fight correctly. Are you gonna paint the Hera models Ufgar? Which one's that? Dude, I'm bad with model names. What's the thing around his head? It's smoke antlers with teeth. Don't worry about it. It's weird. We haven't figured out exactly how we're going to handle that part yet. D. Moreno paints. Thanks for the prime. Ufgar. I don't know that one. I mean, I'm sure I know that one, but I don't know it based off of the name. Because I am bad with the names of models. No, I don't think so. I don't think I'll be painting that. He's an older one, isn't he? Oh, did they? Oh, that one. Yeah. I know the one you're talking about. Nah. Just give him his mustache real quick. I mean, I'm probably going to get paint on it, but I just want to see him with his stash. If he wasn't so detailed, I would give him liver spots too. But his sculpt is a little too detailed, I think, to try and add liver spots. Because beyond being crazy, I think he's also drunk. Eric, what do you think is your strong suit as an artist? There If you say more than one, you've earned it. My strong suit. I would say light and ambience is probably my strong suit. What would you say is my strong suit? Tell me what you think. Oh, thanks, dude. My fashion sense, appreciate it. Not just anyone can pull off a gray hoodie and a black t-shirt. God, he's a weird model. Trying to keep him on camera for you guys. All right, let's get a little bit of this wash. Add some deeper shadows around his eyes. Get some dark tones in his mouth. Could you show the other monsters you painted for KDM? Yeah, I could do that. I don't have them all with me, but I could show you pictures. Let's see what I got. Is the iPad charged? Maybe. Let's see. Let's see if I can pull up some photos. So there's Pariah. And what other ones? Who else was there? Black Knight. I don't remember how long ago I painted Black Knight. There he is. What was the one I painted before that? Ooh, am I gonna be? Whatever. I'll show Sunstalker. I'm not worried about it. He has a certain appendage that some might find a little. What are you doing? Stop doing that. Long press. Where's the other ones? Dude, I don't remember what one I painted before this. I'm forgetting which ones I've painted, actually. And when I painted them and where the photos are. It'd be so much easier if I could just go on Instagram. But I don't have Instagram on my iPad. I'm trying to remember. Dude, it might have been faster to just go grab them from downstairs, but I don't want to carry them all up here. Oof. Well, there's the dragon. So we can look at a photo of him. The Dragon King. What others? I painted a ton of survivors. I feel like I must have painted a lot of the monsters quite early. This is old, but he's on a base now, but he wasn't before. Let's see. That's the butcher. Here's the Sunstalker. Flower Knight, Storm Knight, Manhunter, Gold Smoke Knight. Not the best pictures. Apparently I don't have a picture of, what's it called? The Dung Beetle Knight, annoyingly enough. I have a good picture of Gorm. Oh, picture of the White Lion. But apparently not on a base. Where's Gorm? Did I never actually upload a good picture of Gorm to my, whatever, I'll do it with this old Nova flyer that I did. All right, let's take a look. Oh crap, I sent them to my laptop instead of my iPad. All right. Let's see. Okay. So my very first Kingdom Death monster, you can see, we'll take a look and you guys can see whether I've improved at painting or not, huh? Let me cover the wet palette because I feel like I'm kind of done painting for tonight. We've been going for 3.5 hours, so we can look at some figures. So we have the White Lion, my first KDM miniature. My first ever painted KDM miniature, and it is not that good. I would love if they resculpted these earlier ones. I also remember I don't have a picture of, what's it called? This hair? This hair is not great. And look at the border of the hair in the lion's face. Yeah, I would love for the early ones to get some resculpts. let's see. So there's the White Lion. Here's the Gold Smoke Knight. How long ago was this? Oh, geez. 8 years ago, maybe? Hold on, I can tell you when this picture was taken. That picture was October 2017. So yeah, eight years ago. I've gotten a little better. Oh, that's the students. So here's the Gold Smoke Knight. I was learning how to do non-metallic at this point. Still not super confident with it. It's okay. Could be better. You're actually going to see as I go through a couple of these, like the non-metallic should get better, because this is when I was kind of practicing it. Like I was trying to really like learn how to do it, and I was using some of these KDM models as practice models. I think the hammer is okay, but yeah, the chest and stuff it's not the best. More NMM practice, the Storm Knight. One of my absolute favorite models from Kingdom Death. This was 2018, I believe, is when I painted the Storm Knight, summer of 2018. I entered it at my first Nova Open. I've never seen the Storm Knight. What's it from? It's from Kingdom Death. It was from the first Naked Future bundle or something like that. He doesn't have rules yet. They just like made the model and it's cool. It's rad. I like the Storm Knight. Here's the Manhunter. So like him, I just did this like crackle base to kind of do like a kind of westerny feeling thing. Yeah, he's all right. He's very vascular and weird. I don't know. Here's the Flower Knight. I feel like I'm still improving at non-metallic at this point. Rhyme Fox, hello. Welcome. Thanks for following. So this is the Flower Knight. Yeah, I'm happy with how he turned out. Yeah, this is a fantastic model. But you could see, like, you know, it's okay. I think he's pretty good, honestly, for how old he is. How he would have been painted in just after the Storm Knight, I think. So also 2018. The Sunstalker. One of my favorite bosses and super cool boss, super cool equipment. Was trying to do this like great white shark kind of effect thing on him. Be careful. Yeah, so he was fun. And I would still be happy if I got this results like on a figure, like a tabletop figure I did now. Like I would be totally happy with a figure this well done for for yeah, for a gaming model. The Butcher. So he's about a size. He is the same size as this guy. So he's pretty tiny. He's not super big. He's not like the Millennium Butcher. He's pretty small. So he's the size of a human figure. I'm playing around with blood effects and stuff. Now this is one of the ones I still really like. This is the Dragon King, which you can still find the YouTube video for this on the Vallejo YouTube channel. I did like a two-part little thing about kind of how I approached painting the red skin. But yeah, I like this model a lot, and the wings and stuff are kind of crazy and fun. Somebody was asking about airbrush blending. There you go. There's some airbrush filtering for you to pull off that. This guy has quite a bit actually of airbrush filters on him. But yeah, this is a cool model. Really, really fun KDM model. And his wings are gigantic. They're like a foot long. So I would recommend painting the wings separately, even if it will cause some kind of annoyance of like filling in the gaps when you then attach them later. Oh, like here, so you were asking like what I do for base. So like him, I just made some like kind of rocks and then painted a freehand sort of lava effect like to do that, because one of his events is that or like in his arena, they have like these lava pools you can jump over. So I thought it would be fun to put him on a lava style base. Thought it would be neat. And then the Pariah, which we painted recently. I'm sure there was one in between. Maybe I just painted a bunch of survivors in between. Did I paint any monsters after? Yeah, I painted the Watcher on stream. So I painted the Watcher, but I don't have a picture of him at the moment. Yeah, here's the Pariah. We painted him on stream. He's a new one. Everyone loves Pariah. Mr. Hang Upside Down. The Gorm. Ignore the class. Hey, this will give you an idea of when he was painted. Because I couldn't find a picture of him without the logo and stuff on him. But look at those creepy eyes, dude. He was fun to do this like vein effect. It's a giant baby elephant anglerfish. There's nothing weird about it. With predator style mandibles that are actually hands, you know. Normal stuff. Yeah, and I wanted to give him like weird glassy eyes. I'm the Gorm. I'm a weird baby monster. And then here's the Black Knight, who we also painted on stream. And you might be able to tell that the NMM is a little better than it was when I first started. So, and if you didn't know, this is my favorite monster design in the whole game. He is my favorite character design. Him and the Storm Knight, I think, are my two favorites. I think the Black Knight is so super cool. If I were to give myself feedback, all right, here we go. Are you ready? Let's do it. You know what? Let's have some fun. All right. Which one you want? You want an NMM feedback, or you want or you want the White Lion? We can do Gold Smoke Knight or the Lion. All right, we'll look at Gold Smoke Knight. We're gonna feedback Wednesday my old KDM model. So the number one thing I see when I look at the Gold Smoke is there's some I need to push the lights more on some of the armor. Okay, I'm not getting like a big enough area of light here. So the number one thing I would do is I'm trying to introduce like the mistake that I made is I'm trying to introduce like too much noise in certain areas, and I'm not separating them enough. Okay, so like what's with these like white, like why are these like some of these white spaces? This is not like spherical enough. All right, and this is a flat plane. This should be much more, well, it's an arced plane, but it should be much more flat. So something I would consider here is that like there should be much more light on this plane. Okay, these darks like in between all these rivets and stuff, they don't really make sense over here. All right, so I'm not simplifying enough and then introducing noise later. I'm trying to introduce too much contrast too early, right? So without getting the basic shapes in. So simplifying that. This is generally pretty simplified, but also like this is too gray. I need like a bit more color here, or I needed to go the other way with it. But we could darken this down some. Darken this down some and try and round these over a bit. Okay, so that there's more of a roundedness to this. I don't know what I was doing with this green light. I was just trying something, but I don't think it makes a ton of sense. Just trying to like introduce some kind of effect. I would probably get rid of that now. Like, okay. So simplifying that. This could be, well, one, my paint is very chalky. This could come up higher. All right. There should be more light here and here, and then let the other side of it be dark. More light on top of these. Okay. Then I would push these lights up more. All right, so a little more yellow. And then I'm gonna try and create like a brighter light up here. All right, so I need to push the brightness of this reflection up more so that it starts to look like really shiny. Okay, I need that light to be, I need to be much brighter here. All right. Okay, brighter here. Okay, we're trying to be consistent with this reflection placement. Okay. Probably needs some sort of reflection like on his mouth. Okay, more light on these rivets. Then I need some light sort of here. And these aren't terrible, but they could be better. One, they're just like not super defined, like the actual painting of it is not as small as it could be. And then this center section is where it gets really complicated. And this is where we have to push the light like quite a bit here. So we want this more of this like middle section to be like much brighter and rounder. So pushing the light here. And then creating a much larger light here so that that band of midtone is a little smaller. And we create a more shiny effect, right? So you can see like that there is midtone here, but the amount of light, we're going to shrink more of that midtone so the drop off is a little faster. We're not going straight to like these darker colors. Like there is space there, but we get a bit more of that like light area in between so that there's like some very shiny parts, right? So if we look so far of what we've done, any advice on how to avoid chalky paint with lighter colors? Yeah, I mean, just try and be like, try not to like unload the brush, try and not like scrub at the model too much. Like apply the paint, let it dry, and then build layers on top of each other. This was probably from trying to blend like too fast, and I'm using like different layers and trying to paint in between without like taking my time. So you can see just how much like adding more light here to the center of the model, right, makes this look more metallic. And honestly, like just doing that, I think like one pushes the focus more on the model. Like without even doing much to like the lower portions of him, I probably still would push lights in a few places, like on his knees or something here, right? Maybe just a bit more here. And then probably some more on the hammer to try and like some of these angles are a little off, probably because I painted the hammer separately. So the light isn't quite as centralized as it should be. Like the light should be much more in the middle towards the viewer. But yeah, you can see you could see just how much. Have you ever gone back to something that's done to do updates like this? No, not normally. This is not gonna hurt my experience playing the game, having him not be as good as I could paint him now. This way lies madness, repainting all your models, you know? It's like, I could paint it better now. Well, yeah, you've painted more models since, you know? So, no, it would definitely not be something I went back and did. Then I would come in and probably try and make some of these like lines more refined, because now I can actually paint smaller. I would start to do more interesting stuff with some of these to like create these like intermediate, like these small, like even smaller lines that create more effects in here and stuff that would make this more realistic, I guess. Then maybe because he's got some little scratches and stuff, maybe some little dings and scratches could make for a nice touch to give his armor some weathering or whatnot. Could do stuff like that or whatever. You guys get the idea. But yeah, this is the big thing, is just like making sure the central light is like nice and strong so that it reads properly and the light placement is consistent. So how's that for feedback? When you said now I can paint smaller, do you mean literally that you are able to paint thinner lines in a way you used to not be able to or something? Yes. I can literally paint more better brush control than I did when I painted this, so I can paint like thinner, more rendered, more detailed like finer lines than I used to be able to. So always room for improvement, you know? So simplify the shapes, push the lights where they need to pull focus and really give that shine. And I think those two things would make this model look a lot better. Like more gold. See not Bush. Hello. I was just critiquing my own models. I was just showing some people, when someone asked to see some of my old Kingdom Death models, and then I gave myself feedback. Because someone asked, what would I do differently now? Now I'm just going to upload this to Instagram and be like, oh, look at my gold smoke night. Check out my gold smoke night I painted, guys. If you're just joining us, hello, my name's Eric. I know it's getting a little late. It's 10. Today, we were painting We were painting this guy. We were painting Atnas. So mostly working on this like string of hands around his neck today, but worked on him last week. Did some painting on his robe, and yeah. When you last let yourself, what? When you last left yourself, you were but the letter, now you're the master. Yeah, I know. Guess. Oh, thank you. Yeah, so we were working on him, doing some painting on this guy. I was also showing people, I was working on this in my free time off stream, but I've been also working on the, hold on, we got to do it. Ready? Everybody loves Frog Dog. How are you doing? How was your stream? What were you working on? What were you painting? What were you doing? We were just wrapping up. It's an it. Frog Dog is an it. Doing LED stuff? Cool. Cool. Well, I wish you guys, you came in just as I was getting ready to leave, so sorry for that, but we're going to pass you off to probably someone else here. Because I'm done for the night. But I hope you guys had a great time, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your week. Friday, I will do Feedback Friday, but next Wednesday, maybe, depends on when I get back from my brother's house. It's Christmas Eve, so perhaps I will do a stream. Yeah. So maybe I'll do an Atnas stream on Christmas Eve if I'm feeling like it. But otherwise, I hope you guys have a great holiday. And yeah, I'll see you on Friday. See ya. Bye-bye. Bye.